Learn about a country every day. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is located at the southern tip of the South Asian subcontinent, adjacent to the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Between the two countries, the Palk Strait contains a natural formation called Adams Bridge, which is a chain of sandbanks and islands approximately 100 meters wide, connecting Pamban Island in India and Mannar Island in Sri Lanka, with the deepest part of the strait being about 10 meters. The country is divided into 9 provinces and 25 administrative districts, operating under a dual capital system. Colombo serves as the commercial capital, handling commercial and diplomatic affairs, while the administrative capital is Sri Jayawardenepura, Kotte. In terms of population, Sri Lanka has approximately 21 million people, mainly consisting of Sinhalese, Tamils, and Moors. In terms of ports, Colombo Port is not only the largest port in Sri Lanka, but also the largest transshipment hub in South Asia. The southern Hambantota port is the country's second largest port, having received infrastructure assistance from China. Currently, China holds a 70% stake in the port and has a 99-year lease on the surrounding land. Sri Lanka has over 300 waterfalls, with abundant water resources that provide more than 35% of the country's electricity from hydropower. In addition, Sri Lanka is a major source of gemstones, especially sapphires and rubies. The world's largest star sapphire, the Star of Adam, weighs 400 carats and is valued at over $100 million.
Never put jewelry on your right hand. Here is why. It doesn't matter if it is gold, silver, jade, or crystal. Jewelry belongs to the left hand. Don't leave it on your bedside table or put it in your drawer. Jewelry has the energy, which is meant to be worn, not hidden. Here is why, and 3 key rules to follow when wearing jewelry. Rule number 1, always wear it on the left hand because the left hand receives all the energy from all over the world and the right hand release it. Rule number 2, don't wear it when you are it or working with your hand, and this prevents the scratch search or damage your precious pieces. Rule number 3, never borrow or give your personal jewelry to the others because the jewelry connects you to your personal energy and it creates resonance with it. And giving it away can disturb this balance. Do you know if you are wearing your jewelry correctly? If not, send me your date of birth or DM me. I can help you to find out the perfect pieces to attract the wealth and lucky. Remember to follow me to get more feng shui tips.
Learn about a country every day. Bangladesh. Bangladesh is located in South Asia. It's bordered by India on 3 sides, east, west, and north. To the southeast, it shares a border with Myanmar. Its southern coastline faces the world's largest bay, the Bay of Bengal. The country covers about 147,000 square kilometers. It's divided into 8 administrative divisions. The capital and largest city is Dhaka, situated on the northern bank of the Buriganga River in the Ganges Delta. The second largest city is Chittagong, positioned on the northeastern shore of the Bay of Bengal. As the world's largest river delta, the Ganges Delta spans 105,000 square kilometers. This area exceeds the entire size of South Korea or Portugal. Naturally, the country has numerous rivers. Major ones include the Padma River, the Jamuna River, and the Meghna River. Topographically, Bangladesh consists mainly of plains and hills. Except for hilly areas in the southeast and northeast, over 85% of the country is flat plains. Most of these plains are alluvial plains. River sediments rich in minerals and organic matter, combined with abundant water, make the land ideal for growing rice and jute. Bangladesh also boasts rich biodiversity. For instance, the Sundarbans, the world's largest mangrove forest, is home to one of Earth's last populations of Bengal tigers. Climate-wise, the country has a tropical monsoon climate, with 3 distinct seasons, winter, summer, and monsoon. Due to its low elevation and dense river network, monsoon rains cause dramatic river surges, regularly flooding 2/3 of Bangladesh. During these periods, aerial views reveal why it's aptly called the land of rivers. Additionally, the Bay of Bengal is typhoon-prone, with the country experiencing 1 to 5 typhoons annually. Bangladesh has a 550-kilometer coastline, but here, beyond beautiful beaches and sunshine, this coastline hosts a massive ship graveyard. Shipbreaking originated in early 20th century Europe and America. Driven by cost and environmental regulations, the global shipbreaking hub shifted multiple times. Today, Bangladesh is the world's largest shipbreaking nation, with hundreds of small steel mills lining its coast. The country employs the low-cost beaching method, where ships are maneuvered ashore during high tide, using gently sloping beaches. At low tide, the vessels remain firmly stranded for dismantling. Demographically, Bangladesh has about 174 million people, making it the world's 8th most populous nation. This translates to 1,305 people per square kilometer. To grasp this density, excluding microstates like Singapore or Monaco, Bangladesh ranks as Earth's most densely populated country. Historically, the Bengal region was part of British India. Post-World War II, the partition of India divided the territory into two nations, Hindu-majority India and Muslim-majority Pakistan. Pakistan itself split between West Pakistan and East Pakistan. In 1972, East Pakistan gained independence to become modern-day Bangladesh. Today, Bengalis constitute 98.2% of the population. Bengali is the official language, while English is widely spoken. Islam is the state religion, with minorities practicing Hinduism, Buddhism, and Christianity. In summary, as a young developing nation, while renowned for its fertile delta plains, Bangladesh faces persistent natural disasters and economic development challenges.
How many Great Lakes are there in the Great Lakes? Well, if you said 5, that's a correct answer, but I would argue there is a 6th Great Lake called Lake St. Clair. Right in the middle of them, right between Lake Huron and Lake Erie, there is Lake St. Clair. It is northeast of Detroit and Windsor, and it is just small, so it's kind of forgotten about. But Detroit actually comes from the word in French, Detroit, which means strait, because it is the strait between Lake St. Clair and Lake Erie. Follow for more geography. See ya.
Kapoy nakuha ng mga taga Manila, uy, grabe ka plastic ang mga tao dito. Ang congresswoman ko dito nga kulot og buhok og sisaldi ko magigagaw ba mo kay pulisan? Pwede na karon kay wala naman si Torre. Mayor, pautanga sa ako, Mayor, ha? Padala lang. Uy, kwarta. Ko, 50 mil na ang lechon baka sa panahon ni BBM.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Everybody has their calling, everybody finds a way. We're just learning and growing with every challenge in the day. It gets into your spirit and it lifts you when you're down. We can share our hopes and dreams and watch them come around. Da da dum da dum 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 da dum 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 da da dum dum da da dum dum da da dum.
A few weeks after, may party sa house ni Julio. Yung akala ko na he needed time. He needed someone else pala. He was with a friend, and habang lumalalim yung gabi at nalalasing na yung mga tao, nag-kiss sila sa harapan ko. Yun na yung sagot. Napag-usapan natin sa moment of truth na we all deserve to be loved, proud. And kung ako man yung magiging dahilan why they couldn't do that, ayoko nang ganun. Nakikilala ko na nga si Joer, si Julio, ibang campers, pero hindi siya. Kasi it's an awkward situation. So naiintindihan ko yung naging distance namin. Naiintindihan ko na yung spark, it's a potential. Pero akala ko kasi team kami. Yeah.
In a small town in Bicol, there's a road that locals call Dangwalanghangan, the Endless Road. At night, tricycles avoid it, because no matter how far you drive, the scenery doesn't change. Coconut trees, fireflies, silence. One college student didn't believe the stories. After a fiesta, he borrowed his cousin's motorcycle and took the shortcut home through that road. At first it was fine, just dark and quiet. But after 10 minutes he noticed something strange. The same waiting shed, the same tree with a crooked branch. He thought maybe he was tired, so he sped up. Another 10 minutes passed. The same shed again. Same crooked branch. The hair on his arms rose. He looked in the mirror. Behind him, the road stretched out. But the waiting shed was there too. Not once, not twice. Dozens of them. all lined up. Panicking, he slowed down. That's when he saw her. A woman in white, standing by the next waiting shed, head bowed, not moving. He shut his eyes, gunned the throttle, and didn't stop until the engine sputtered out. When he finally opened his eyes, he was parked outside the cemetery. His cousin's motorcycle turned off, keys in his pocket. No one ever found out how he got there. But people say if you drive that road at night, don't look at the waiting sheds, because one of them won't be empty. Follow Creepypasta for more.
Like the morning, sun breaks through the night. You came and turned my wrongs to right. I was lost, just drifting out at sea.
Well, maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much.
In Iloilo, there's a story that has been whispered about for years. A group of students rented a boarding house near their university. It was cheap and convenient and old, but they didn't mind. The first few nights were normal, uneventful, peaceful even. But then one student woke up at exactly 3 a.m. to the sound of soft crying. It came from under her bed. At first it was just a low, sad sound, but then it started to increase in volume, turning into sobs, then laughter. When she peeked under the bed, there was nothing there. At first she thought it was just her imagination, you know. The classic case of a student staying up too late, studying too hard, and letting her mind run wild. But the next night it happened again, and the night after that, and the night after that. It was during one of these nights that she decided to tell her boardmates about it. You know, the ones that you always see in horror movies, that never listen to the protagonist when they start telling them that something is wrong. Anyway, she told them about the crying and the laughing and how she felt like something or someone was just beneath her bed. And then they started telling her about the sounds they had been hearing from different parts of the house. See, her room was just one of many in this old house. Each room was cheap, had its own bathroom, and was basically a self-contained unit. So when she heard the other students' stories, she realized that she wasn't going crazy. They had heard similar sounds from their closets, their walls, even inside the bathroom. One student had even woken up to the sound of footsteps pacing back and forth on the wooden floor above her head, even though nobody lived in the room above hers. They asked the landlady about it. Apparently, the woman's face turned pale when they told her what they were hearing. She admitted that years ago during martial law, the house was used as a safe house for activists. Students from all over the country would come and stay here. They were usually only there for a couple of days before disappearing. And those that did stay behind never came out. That night the crying came back, but it wasn't under the bed anymore. It was right beside her ear. And it wasn't crying anymore. It was whispering. It was whispering her name. To this day, nobody knows what happened to the students, whether they were taken by the military or they simply vanished into thin air. All we know is that some houses keep more than just memories. They keep the voices of those who were silenced. If you like this story, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you never miss out on any of our terrifying tales. Follow Creepypasta for more.
Hallo! Oh my God, I love this question. So, ich habe in einem Online-Kurs von A1 bis B1 teilgenommen. I think that was last July 2024 pa. So, in total, I think that 1 year and 2 months na. Der Kurs war täglich von 18 Uhr bis 21:30 Uhr. Ich musste das während meiner Uni-Sachen machen. So, you really need to manage your time well if ever gusto ko magto. And that goes for every other language as well. Like, you have to really invest time and manage your time well. For the rest of the time nga wala kay klase, you have to learn by yourself, of course. What I did was, aside the notes na ako, habe ich viele Lieder auf Deutsch gehört, die ursprünglich auf Englisch waren. So, for example, mga kanta sa Little Mermaid, Frozen, ganun. Ich habe auch viele Serien und Filme auf Deutsch geschaut. Then, if ever feel ako di pa kay follow, habe ich sie auf Englisch geschaut, aber mit deutschen Untertiteln, so like German subtitles. And then, I also spent 2 months in Austria, so I feel like this kind of immersive experience was helpful sa language learning process kaya I could actually hear how the language was spoken in real life by people who actually spoke the language. So, dagan pa kayo check about ana, pero if gusto pa mo like more on German kineme, let me know and I will teach you how to doggy. Shut up!
Learn about a country every day. Democratic Republic of Congo. It is also called Congo-Kinshasa. It is located in Central Africa. It is known as the Heart of Africa. It shares borders with 9 other countries. Its land area is nearly 2.35 million square kilometers. It is the second largest country in Africa, after Algeria. It is also the largest country in sub-Saharan Africa. The country is divided into 26 provinces. Its capital, Kinshasa, sits on one bank of the Congo River. Right across the river is Brazzaville, the capital of the Republic of Congo. Even though the straight line distance between them is actually less than 7 kilometers. This makes them the closest capital cities in the world. However, there are no bridges connecting them. You have to take boats to cross. From Matadi, the capital of Congo Central Province at the lower Congo River, to the Atlantic Ocean, lies the country's only access to the sea. So while the DRC seems like a landlocked country, it actually has a coastline measuring 37 kilometers long. Banana Port is its only seaport. It also has river ports like Matadi and Boma. However, overland transportation in the country is relatively underdeveloped. DR Congo had a 5,000-kilometer railway network. Most of it was built during the colonial era, after years of neglect. Only small sections are still operational today. As for roads, only about 2% are paved roads. Fortunately, Congo has many rivers. The Congo River is the longest river in the country. It carries the second largest amount of water in the world, after Brazil's Amazon River. Over half of this country can be reached by traveling on its rivers. Therefore, water transport is a major way of traveling in Congo. Geographically, a key feature is naturally the Congo Basin. It is the largest basin in Africa. It spreads across 6 African countries. It is also home to the world's second largest tropical rainforest, after the Amazon, the Congo rainforest. Because of this, forests cover more than 50% of the DRC. Of course, lots of wildlife lives here, and many species are found only in this region, like the unusual-looking okapi. Surrounding the basin are higher plateaus and mountains. For example, the Mitumba Mountains in the east, and the Lunda Plateau and Katanga Plateau in the south. Also, because the east is near the East African Rift, lakes and volcanoes are common here. Besides Lake Kivu and Lake Tanganyika, there are also Africa's 2 most active volcanoes, Nyiragongo and Nyamurajara. Nyiragongo's crater is about 2,000 meters wide. Inside it is the world's largest lava lake. Mount Stanley, located on the border with Uganda, is the highest point for both countries and the 3rd highest peak in Africa. This area is also the country's main mining region. The DRC has extremely rich mineral resources. Its copper reserves account for 15% of the world's total. Its cobalt reserves make up 50% of the world's supply. It holds 80% of the world's coltan. Its diamond reserves are about 206 million carats. It also has significant iron ore and oil and gas resources. Regarding population, the country has over 100 million people. It is the 4th most populous country in Africa. There are 254 ethnic groups nationwide. Over 60 of them are major groups. French is the official language. It is also the world's largest French-speaking country. Besides that, there are about 250 local languages spoken. The main ones are Lingala, Swahili, and Kikongo. 50% of the population follows Catholicism. 20% are Protestant Christians. Islam and Kimbanguism each account for 10%. The rest follow various indigenous religions. In conclusion, the DRC has a vast territory and abundant resources. Its reserves of minerals, forests, and fresh water all rank among the highest in the world. But at the same time, it is one of the world's least developed countries. Its levels of technology, education, healthcare, and infrastructure are relatively weak. It also has security problems. It is an African nation with both great development opportunities and significant social challenges.
In Quezon Province, there's a bus terminal that never closes. Drivers say it's normal to see tired passengers at 2 or 3 a.m. But one conductor swears there was a night he'll never forget. Around 2:30, a woman in white boarded his bus. She didn't buy a ticket, just smiled and went straight to the back seat. The driver was too sleepy to argue, so they let her ride. The bus rolled onto the highway. Every time the conductor passed the aisle, he noticed something odd. The other passengers never looked at her. They shifted uncomfortably, but their eyes slid away like she wasn't there. Finally, he stopped at her row and asked for her fare. She turned slowly, face pale, lips cracked, and whispered, "I already paid." Confused, he checked his ticket pouch. There was an old yellowed ticket inside, stamped with a date from 10 years ago. His stomach dropped. He looked back at the woman. Her seat was empty. When the bus reached the next terminal, the driver parked and went pale. On the side of the bus, by the last window, was a wet handprint. Fingers long, streaks dripping like it came from inside. The other passengers whispered nervously, one finally breaking down. "That's why we never sit at the back. She always rides there. She died in an accident on this route years ago." The conductor quit the next morning. Follow Creepypasta for more.
There's a region in Europe claimed by two countries, and it's not Kosovo, it's Transylvania. For centuries, Transylvania was part of the Kingdom of Hungary, but after World War I, the Treaty of Trianon gave it to Romania. Hungary lost 2/3 of its territory, and over 1.2 million ethnic Hungarians still live in Transylvania. Many towns still use Hungarian names, and in some areas, people barely speak Romanian. Some even dream of one day rejoining Hungary. So is Transylvania just a region inside Romania, or the heart of a century-old identity struggle? What do you think?
Gang, 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 gang.
Philippines is not poor, it is plundered. Follow now, because this is part of the story that shows why Filipinos are forced abroad even though the country is rich. The Philippines has gold, nickel, copper, fertile land, and seas full of fish. It has workers known all over the world for their skill, strength, and sacrifice. Proof of this is the millions of OFWs who build cities, heal patients, and power industries across the globe. But despite all this, families at home struggle with poverty. Why? Because the government keeps stealing. Taxes collected from workers vanish into scams, ghost projects, and overpriced contracts. Instead of roads, schools, and hospitals, money ends up in the pockets of politicians who flaunt their wealth online. This is not lack of resources, it is plunder. Filipinos are not lazy, they are hardworking. They are not without wealth, but that wealth is stolen before it can reach them. The result is simple. The rich grow richer while ordinary Filipinos are pushed to leave their families and work abroad. So let me ask you, is the Philippines poor, or is it betrayed by leaders who plunder it? Follow now, because in my next video, I'll expose how even remittances become another target of this system.
Why 74% of Madagascar lives on the wrong side of the island? Madagascar sits just 250 miles from Africa, but still they are turning their backs on their neighbours. Here's the insane truth. 1,500 years ago, Indonesian sailors risked everything, crossing 4,000 miles of deadly ocean in tiny wooden canoes to reach this island, and they picked the right side by accident. Eastern Madagascar gets 137 inches of rain per year, which is absolutely perfect for farming and turning it into a tropical paradise, while the other side gets only 15 inches, basically a desert. Here's the crazy part. Madagascar makes $4.25 billion trading with distant continents, but only $9 million with Africa right next door. Sometimes the wrong choice is actually genius.
Bakit nga ba tungkol sa manananggal ang pinakaunang horror movie dito sa Pilipinas? Mga kaibigan, alam nyo ba na noong 1927 ginawa ang pinakaunang Filipino horror film na pinamagatang Ang Manananggal, na idinirekta naman ng itinuturing na ama ng pelikulang Pilipino na si Jose Nepomuceno. Ito ang naging unang horror movie sa ating bansa dahil simula noong 1920s ay nagkalat ang iba't ibang reports at sightings sa Pilipinas, partikular na sa Western Visayan region, patungkol sa mga nilalang na to na tinatawag ng manananggal. Noong mga panahong yun, ang mga kwentong ito ay umabot pa nga sa mainstream media at naging laman ng dyaryo na siyang nagdulot ng iba't ibang reaksyon sa mga Pilipino. Ayon sa kwento, ang mga manananggal ay kabilang sa lahi ng mga aswang na may kakayahang hatiin ang katawan nito upang makahanap ng mabibiktima. Walang sapat na ebidensya patungkol sa mga nilalang na ating nabanggit, kaya naman hanggang ngayon ay mistulang hiwaga pa rin ang bagay na to sa ating lahat. Ikaw kaibigan, napanood mo na ba ang pelikulang to?
Every day I bathed my father with concentrated sulfuric acid until my father was scrubbed completely clean. Then I cut the wire and pieced the scattered bones back together one by one. Soon a complete skeleton had been assembled, and that was the gift I made for my daughter.
Hey everybody, Look who's here.
But my daughter wasn't scared. She ran excitedly to Skeleton Grandpa for a hug. In fact, the little girl was a skeleton too. Even the girl's mother was a skeleton. I'm a terrifying killer, and I suffer from severe dissociative identity disorder. I'd been single for many years. So I kept fantasizing about having a whole family. So I turned the people I captured into my family members. One day when I went out to get the mail, I noticed a young couple had moved in across the street. I set my sights on the woman across the way. After greeting them, I started planning how to make my move. That night, as they were getting ready to drive home, they accidentally knocked over the mailbox in front of my house. Anna wanted to go over and apologize, but she found no one answering inside the house. So Jack left a note explaining what happened. Little did they know I, hiding in the corner, had seen everything. Luckily, they didn't notice the skull inside the mailbox. That was my first wife. Early the next morning, the couple were shocked to find the mailbox that had been knocked over the night before was now completely intact. But out of politeness, they still planned to go to my door to apologize. Seeing my prey come to the door, I hurriedly and warmly invited them inside. From our conversation, I learned that the couple had moved here for work, and they didn't have any friends here. For me, they were perfect prey. Unexpectedly, my fantasies kicked in again. I saw Anna constantly winking at me. She even said I was her type.
I'm a little deaf in this ear.
Oh, I was just saying how sorry we are about your mailbox. Ugh.
You have been so nice about it.
I generously said it didn't matter, and that no compensation was necessary. So they invited me to their place for dinner that evening. I gladly accepted the invitation from my prey. That night I went to their house on time. As soon as I entered, I asked to see the basement, because to me it was a perfect place to kill. But Jack said the basement light hadn't been installed yet, so you couldn't see anything down there. So I sneaked into the backyard to look for another place. But I unexpectedly saw something unusual. The couple seemed to be arguing about something. They had no idea I was hiding in the shadows watching them. I thought my chance had come. I wanted Anna to replace my wife, but when the wife found out, she was furious. She called me out on my intentions. That immediately angered me. I warned the wife to stop causing a scene, or she'd get a taste of what happened to my first wife.
They were her bones you hid in the mailbox.
Then I raised the wine glass in my hand.
Wallace Line is actually the Wallace Band. It marks the boundary between two continents, Asia and Oceania. At its narrowest, it passes between two islands, Bali and Lombok. Wallacea, as this region is known, has one of the richest ecosystems on Earth. Wallace noted in his diary that although these islands were separated only by the straits, they were more different than England and Japan, even though Lombok and Bali were no more than 30 miles apart.
Dahan-dahan lang kitang aawitan sinta ko sa pagsapit ng dilim na tayo'y magkapiling.
Huwag kang umalis, bakla. Huwag kang tanga. Hindi ka uuwi, bobo.
Learn about a country every day. Romania. Romania is located in the Balkan Peninsula in southeastern Europe. It borders 5 countries, with Serbia and Bulgaria separated by the Danube River as a natural boundary, and Moldova separated by the Prut River, a tributary of the Danube. The Danube and Prut rivers meet in Romania and flow into the Black Sea, forming the largest river delta in Europe at the mouth, the Danube Delta. Romania has a population of 21,680,974 and is administratively divided into 41 counties and Bucharest, the capital city. Additionally, 8 development regions have been established for regional development coordination. The capital, Bucharest, means City of Joy and has a population of about 2.16 million, while the second largest city is Cluj-Napoca. Romania has 19 airports, with the main one being Bucharest Otopeni International Airport, also known as Henry Coanda International Airport, which is Romania's busiest international airport. Romania has an area similar to the UK, covering 238,391 square kilometers. In terms of geography, the Carpathian Mountains form a semicircle in the central region, with the Transylvanian Plateau to the west, the Moldavian Plateau to the east, and the Danube Plain and Dobrogea Hills to the south. In terms of tourism, villages with fortified churches in Transylvania are churches built in medieval times that serve both for religious services and defense against enemies. With thick walls and tall towers, they have been well preserved for hundreds of years. Horezu Monastery has beautiful murals painted on the walls and gorgeous architecture. It's a great place to learn about Byzantine art. Wooden churches of Maramuresh are churches built entirely of wood with excellent craftsmanship. Located in mountain areas with beautiful surroundings, they are very unique. Painted churches of northern Moldavia have colorful religious stories painted on the church walls, bright and vivid, looking like giant picture books. After more than 500 years, the colors are still bright. Roșia Montana mining landscape is an ancient gold mining site with old mine shafts, mining tools, and villages where miners used to live. You can learn about 2,000 years of gold mining history.
Open the fucking
door, Cassie! What kind of fucking friend are you? What the